Welcome to Wikipedia to fall asleep to. Settle in, breathe slowly, and let your thoughts drift as we wander together through Adam Prentice. Adam M. Prentice is an American professional football fullback for the Denver Broncos of the National Football League, NFL. He played college football for the Colorado State Rams and South Carolina Gamecocks, and was signed by the Broncos as an undrafted free agent in 2021. He has also played for the New Orleans Saints. In addition to his usage as a fullback, Prentice has also occasionally played running back, often playing running back either as a situational ball carrier or a pass blocker/pass protector. Early life Prentice was born in Fresno on January 16, 1997, to Renee and Gary Prentice. He graduated from Clovis High in 2015, receiving the Benai Brith Award from Fresno County for his outstanding community service, excelling academically in track, wrestling, and football. Prentice would place 5th in the Valley in the shot put, 2nd in the state in wrestling, and was the Fresno B Defensive Player of the Year. Prentice would lose his father Gary suddenly to cancer his senior year at Clovis High. The memory of his father would inspire Prentice throughout college. College career Prentice began his collegiate career at Colorado State. He joined the team as a walk-on and redshirted his true freshman season. Prentice was named the Rams' starting fullback and awarded a scholarship before suffering a season-ending injury shortly before the start of his redshirt freshman season. Prentice served as Colorado State's primary fullback for the next 3 seasons before transferring to South Carolina as a graduate transfer. At South Carolina, Prentice was named Offensive Player of the Game in their historic victory versus Auburn. Prentice finished his master's in structural engineering at South Carolina. Denver Broncos. First stint, Prentice was signed by the Denver Broncos as an undrafted free agent on May 3, 2021. He was waived by the Broncos on August 31. New Orleans Saints Prentice was claimed off of waivers by the New Orleans Saints on September 1, 2021. He was waived on September 14 and re-signed to the practice squad. Prentice was elevated to the active roster on November 25 for the team's Week 12 game against the Buffalo Bills and made his NFL debut in the game, starting at fullback and catching a pass from Trevor Siemian for 10 yards for his first career reception. He was signed to the active roster on December 2. As a rookie, Prentice recorded 3 rushing attempts for 5 yards, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 16 yards, and 1 tackle. He appeared in 7 games and started 3. Prentice made the Saints' final roster in 2022, but was waived on October 1, 2022, and re-signed to the practice squad. He was promoted to the active roster on November 10. In 2022, Prentice recorded 4 rushing attempts for 9 yards, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 9 yards, 3 tackles, with 1 fumble. On October 14, 2023, Prentice was placed on injured reserve. He was reactivated on November 11, waived 3 days later, and re-signed to the practice squad on November 16. He was promoted to the active roster on December 9. In 2023, Prentice recorded 2 rushing attempts for 12 yards, caught 2 of 3 targets for 12 receiving yards, 5 tackles and 1 fumble. Prentice played in 13 games with 1 start in the 2023 season. In the 2024 season, Prentice recorded 0 receptions on 4 targets and recorded a career-high 7 tackles. He appeared in 17 games with 7 starts. On August 17, 2025, Prentice was signed by the Denver Broncos once again following injuries to fullbacks Michael Burton and Nate Adkins. On August 26, he was released. The next day, he was re-signed to the practice squad. With both Burton and Adkins out with injury, Prentice was elevated from the practice squad for the team's first 3 games of the season. On September 24th, he was promoted to the active roster. On March 12, 2026, Prentice re-signed with the Broncos on a 1-year contract. Let your mind wander now to Colin Ratushniak. Colin Ratushniak is a Canadian professional ice skater and politician who appeared in the TV show Dancing on Ice in 2011 with celebrity skating partner Laura Hamilton. In September 2012, Ratushniak attained a 2-year visa and moved to the UK to concentrate on building a career in TV production. In November 2020, he was elected the mayor of the town of La Ronge, Saskatchewan. Background: born in Gillam, Manitoba in Canada, Ratushniak began skating at the age of 2. He played ice hockey until he was 12 years old, at which point he began making the transition from hockey player to ice skater. When his family moved to Brandon, he continued training and began his competitive career. From 1998 to 2002, Ratushniak reigned as the province of Manitoba's men's novice champion. He also won a pre-novice bronze medal at the Junior National Championships in 2000. 2003 to 2010. In 2003, after graduating from high school, Ratushniak turned professional and joined Feld Entertainment to skate in the critically acclaimed Disney on Ice productions, touring the UK in 2008 with the show High School Musical. For the next 8 years he continued to tour, working with illustrious names such as Rand Productions and Karen Kresch Productions, to date performing in over 50 countries and 500 major cities across 5 continents. During this time, he also developed his skills as a pairs skater, pairing up with Amanda Frank and Isabelle Gauthier. In 2010, at age 24, Ratushniak performed his first backflip on the ice. Dancing on Ice in January 2011, Ratushniak took his first foray into the world of prime-time TV when he appeared as a professional skater in Series 6 of the UK TV show Dancing on Ice with celebrity partner Laura Hamilton, and the couple were early favorites to win the series. They eventually finished runners-up in the series to Brian Delcourt and Sam Atwater, and went on to perform in cities across the UK with the Dancing on Ice live tour. Beyond Broadway in August and September 2011, Ratushniak performed alongside Olympic figure skating champion Joanne Richette in the show Beyond Broadway at the Canadian National Exhibition, CNE. Performing with professional partner Isabelle Gauthier, They skated to the song Seasons of Love from the Broadway musical Rent, as well as joining the rest of cast for other routines. Tropicana, the Passion Tour the end of 2011 and the beginning of 2012, saw Ratushniak performing in the Holiday on Ice show, Tropicana. Running from December 2011 until February 2012 across the Netherlands and the UK, the show was created and choreographed by Olympic champion Robin Cousins, MBE, and featured music from singer Barry Manilow. The show premiered in Eindhoven and went on to play in Amsterdam, Maastricht, Utrecht, Zwolle, Brighton, Peterborough, Cardiff, and Exeter. Skating on Broadway in March 2012, Ratushniak traveled to Irapuato in Mexico to perform in the Ucha Adade Entertainment production of Skating on Broadway. The show's cast performed to a selection of songs from Broadway musicals, with Ratushniak taking the starring role in the sections for Rent and Lion King. He returned to Mexico in April 2012, and again in June 2012, this time performing the show in the cities of Villahermosa and Durango, respectively. During the latter period, he took on the additional role of company manager, responsible for coordinating all aspects of the show's production. Quebec Club shows in between his shows in Mexico, Ratushniak joined forces with pro-partner Isabelle Gauthier, once again, to perform as guests in the annual gala shows of skating clubs in Quebec, as well as their Seasons of Love routine from the show Beyond Broadway. Ratushniak and Gauthier performed a new routine that they'd choreographed especially for the shows, skating to the song Moves Like Jagger. The shows took place at skating clubs in Charny, Abenakis, and Lac-Mégantic. Rock on Ice in April 2012, and again in June 2012, Ratushniak performed in the production of Rock on Ice, a show which ran alongside the production Skating on Broadway. He joined the cast for the shows run in the cities of Villahermosa and Durango in Mexico, performing as both a soloist and member of the ensemble, to songs from rock legends including ZZ Top, Van Halen, Pink Floyd, and Queen. His role as company manager, whilst in Durango, encompassed both shows. Kyron Bracken's Ice Party, after moving to the UK permanently, in September 2012, Ratushniak performed for the first time with professional skater Paddy Petrus at Kyron Bracken's Ice Party in Blackpool. The show took place from 1 to 3 of November with Ratushniak and Petrus skating pairs routines, alongside other professional skaters Karen Barber, Daniel Whiston, and Brian Delcourt. Stars on Ice Australia. In November 2012, Ratushniak traveled to Singapore to perform in the Stars on Ice Australia Christmas Gala shows, which took place in Grosvenor Square. He performed in the show as a soloist as well as pairs. The show ran from 24th of November until 23rd of December. Celebrities on Ice performing alongside TV personality Chico Slimani, England rugby legend Kyron Bracken, West End star Ray Quinn, and the world-famous Russian ice stars. Ratushniak starred in the show Celebrities on Ice in January 2013. Held at Peterborough Arena from 25 to 27th of January, the show was hosted by celebrity Christopher Biggins. The show subsequently embarked on a UK nationwide arena tour from April until June 2013, where he performed alongside dancing on ice celebrities Beth Tweddle, Matthew Lapinskas and Gareth Thomas, and professional skaters Daniel Whiston, Brian Delcourt, and Jenna Nicole Smith. Stars on Ice Australia Ratushniak ended the year with a return to Singapore to perform once again at the Velocity Christmas shows held in Novelis Square. The show, produced by Stars on Ice Australia, ran from 26th of November to 22nd of December and featured a mix of popular music and classic Christmas songs performed by a cast of 3 professional skaters. Skate in the City, taking place at Broadgate Ice Rink and hosted by Southend Airport, Ratushniak performed alongside English rugby player and Dancing on Ice star Kyron Bracken, X Factor contestant Chico, EastEnders and Dancing on Ice contestant Matt Lapinskas, and the Russian Ice stars in a one-off outdoor event, Skate in the City. Val Baylor Gala show Ratushniak was reunited with pro skating partner Isabelle Gauthier on 5th of April to perform at the Val Baylor Gala show in Quebec. The pair skated their Seasons of Love and moves like Jagger routines at the show, the first they had paired up for since March 2013. Other interests, as well as being a professional ice skater, Ratushniak is also a qualified pilot and licensed property developer. Ratushniak was elected mayor of the northern town of La Ronge, Saskatchewan, in November 2020, making him the first openly gay mayor in La Ronge's history. He resigned his position in July 2022 to pursue a career as a commercial pilot. Our next topic tonight is Lowell Observatory Near-Earth Object Search. Lowell Observatory Near-Earth Object Search, LONEOS, was a project designed to discover asteroids and comets that orbit near the Earth. The project, funded by NASA, was directed by astronomer Ted Bowell of Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona. The LONEOS project began in 1993 and ran until the end of February 2008. Hardware LONEOS in its final configuration used a 0.6 meter f/1 8 Schmidt telescope acquired from Ohio Wesleyan University in 1990 and a Lowell-built 16-megapixel CCD detector. This combination of instruments provided a field of view of 288 by 288 degrees 3 square degrees. It had a maximum nightly scan area of about 1,000 square degrees, covered 4 times. The instrument could cover the entire accessible dark sky in about a month. The CCD has detected asteroids as faint as visual magnitude 19.8, but its typical limiting visual magnitude was 19.3. The instrument is located at Lowell Observatory's dark sky site, Anderson Mesa Station, near Flagstaff, Arizona, U.S. 4 computers were used. 2 were used for frame reductions, 1 for telescope pointing control, and 1 for camera control. The camera control software had scripting capability and could control all the other computers. Technique asteroids were found by obtaining 4 pictures frames of the same region of sky, each frame temporally separated by 15 to 30 minutes. The set of 4 frames were then submitted to reduction software, which located all star-like sources on the frame and identified sources that moved with asteroid-like motion. The observer visually examined all asteroid detections that had motion different from a typical main belt asteroid. Human examination was required because most putative NEO detections were not real but some kind of imaging artifact. All asteroid positions were converted to equatorial coordinates. Various USNO star catalogs were used for this conversion until 2007. Then the Sloan Digital Sky Survey Catalog was used, along with supplemental information from the Carlsberg Catalog and the 2MASS Catalog. Asteroid brightness was converted to standard visual magnitude. These data, along with the time of the observations, were sent to the Minor Planet Center, MPC, from which they were distributed to the scientific community. Potential near-Earth objects were handled expeditiously so that other observers could locate the asteroid on the same night and make further observations. Telescope operation was automated to the extent that the survey could be run all night without observer intervention. However, the telescope was seldom operated in the automatic mode because an observer was required to reduce data promptly and to correct any malfunctions that might have occurred. As of 2017, Lonios is credited by the Minor Planet Center with the discovery of 22,077 minor planets between 1998 and 2008. The discoveries include main belt asteroids, near-Earth objects, NEO and Mars crossers. During the period of Lonios operation, several other NASA-funded NEO searches were underway, number of discoveries in parentheses. Linear Spacewatch Mount Lemmon Survey Near-Earth Asteroid Tracking and Catalina Sky Survey amateur observers made a significant contribution during this time, with independent NEO discoveries, and by performing follow-up observations of recent discoveries made by the NASA-sponsored surveys. NEO discovery statistics. The table below lists the number of discoveries made by Lonios each year of operation. Asteroids thought to be larger than 1 kilometer in diameter were used as benchmarks in assessing survey completeness. Hence, some table elements have two numbers separated by a slash. The second number represents the number of discoveries larger than 1 kilometer. The column labeled Asteroid Observations is the number of observations sent to the Minor Planet Center. Each asteroid was typically observed 4 times, once per frame each night. A complete list of Lonios NEO observations can be found at the NEO-DIES website. Other Science, the Lonios Frame Archive, provides a data set with wide spatial and temporal sky coverage. Other investigators have used these characteristics to produce the following research papers and presentations. Investigating the distinct components of the galactic stellar halo RR Lyrae from the Lonios I survey, American Astronomical Society, AAS meeting #211-163, 02 Huber Mark, Meisley A. Cook K. H. Rest A. Narayan G. Stubbs C. W. Evidence for distinct components of the galactic stellar halo from 838 RR Lyrae stars discovered in the Lonios I survey, Eprint R. Ziv. 0706, 1583 Meisley A. Rest A. Stubbs C. W. Hawley S. L. Cook K. H. Magnier J. Johal E. A. Krysiunas K. Bowell E. Cohen B. Detecting variable objects with the Lonio's photometric database. 15,000 square degrees of variability measurements down to 19th magnitude in R. American Astronomical Society, 199th AAS meeting, #101. 10. Bulletin of the American Astronomical Society, Vol. 33, page 1463, Rest A. Meisley A. Mcnades G. Covarrubias R. Stubbs C. Magnier E. Cohen B. Bowell T. Cook K. Krysiunas K. Highlights 1999, April 12th. Sean Herman discovers an Aten, 1999 HF1, more than 3 kilometers in diameter. 1999 May. The 1999 JD6 peanut-shaped asteroid, a contact binary, was first discovered. 1999 December 2nd. Bruce Cohen discovers the first Earth-crossing Damocloid asteroid, 1999 XS35, later identified as a comet. 2001 August 14th. Mike Van Ness discovers the second Earth-crossing Damocloid, C/2001 OG108, Lonios. 2001 November 20th. Discovers near-Earth object 2001 WN5 that will pass 0.00166 248,000 kilometers, 154,000 miles, from the Earth on 2028 June 26th. 2003 September 27th. Bob Cash of non-profit collaborator Minor Planet Research, Inc., finds the then closest Earth-crossing asteroid, 2003 SQ-222, while testing a remote educational outreach module developed by the company. 2003 October 15th, Brian A. Skiff recovers 1937 UB Hermes, a lost asteroid for 66 years. 2004 May 20th. Brian Skiff finds an asteroid, 2004 JG6, with the then smallest orbit. It is the second asteroid found that has an orbit entirely within Earth's orbit. Principal investigator, Dr. Edward Bowell, computer programming, Dr. Bruce Cohen, professional observers, Brian Skiff, Bill Ferris, Mike Van Ness, Sean Herman, Jason Sanborn, volunteer observers, Christopher Onken, Jennifer Palguta, Wendy Kelly, Thomas Grimstad, Lori Levy, Robert Cash, Bliss, James Ashley, collaborators, CCD performance modeling, Dr. Steve Howell, Win/NOO, asteroid detection modeling, Dr. Kari Muonanen, University of Helsinki. See also List of minor planet discoverers section, discovering dedicated institutions, Pan-STARRS Planetary Data System, PDS, SpaceGuard. Our next topic tonight is Honorary Aryan. Honorary Aryan was a semi-official category and expression used in Nazi Germany and its territories to justify certain individuals who, according to the Nuremberg laws, were not recognized as being of German or related blood, the Aryan race, but who were nonetheless spared persecution and granted equal rights, although they continued to be regarded as inferior to the Aryan race. The bestowal of the honorary Aryan status upon certain non-Aryan people or peoples was typically not well documented, due to the semi-official nature of the category. Rationales included the services of those individuals or peoples who were deemed valuable to the German economy or war effort, political considerations, and propaganda value. Some misclinge, individuals of mixed European and non-Aryan ancestry, were granted honorary Aryan status for their contributions to Germany and loyalty to the Nazi Party. In the independent state of Croatia, a Nazi client state, this term was used by Ante Pavlik to protect some Jews from persecution who had been useful to the state. Individuals Helmuth Wilberg, a Luftwaffe general and first-degree Mischling, was declared to be Aryan in 1935 by Hitler at the instigation of Hermann Göring. Amin al-Husseini, a Palestinian and the Mufti of the British Mandate of Palestine, was granted the status of Honorary Aryan by Hitler. Stephanie von Hohenlohe, a Jewish Austrian princess by marriage and a spy for Nazi Germany, was declared an Honorary Aryan by Heinrich Himmler. Emil Morris, Hitler's first personal chauffeur and a very early member of the Nazi Party, was member number 2 of the SS, but ran afoul of Himmler's rules, which required SS men to have deep Aryan ancestry. Morris's great-grandfather was Jewish, and Himmler, SS number 168, considered him a security risk. He tried to have him thrown out of the SS, but Hitler stood by his old friend, and in a secret letter dated 31st of August 1935, required Himmler to allow Morris and his brothers to remain in the organization as Honorary Aryans. Sophie Lehar, née Paschal, the wife of the composer Franz Lehar, had been Jewish before her conversion to Catholicism upon her marriage. Hitler enjoyed Lehar's music, and the Nazis made some propaganda use of it. After Joseph Goebbels intervened on Lehar's behalf, Mrs. Lehar was given in 1938 the status of Honorary Aryan by marriage. At least one attempt was made to have her deported, but it was thwarted by her special status. Helene Mayer, a German-born fencer who had been forced to leave Germany in 1935 and resettle in the United States because she was Jewish, took part as an Honorary Aryan at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, where she won the silver medal for Germany. Melita Schenk-Gräfin von Stauffenberg, an aeronautical engineer and test pilot whose father had been born Jewish, was given Honorary Aryan status. Demographics Hitler declared the Japanese people as Honorary Aryans, which granted them equal rights. There had been extensive cooperation between China and Germany from 1926, but this became untenable when the Second Sino-Japanese War broke out and Japan insisted on a cessation. Germany signed the Tripartite Pact, along with Japan and Italy, at the end of 1940. In July 1941, Hitler officially recognized Wang Jingwei's puppet government in Nanking. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, China formally joined the Allies and declared war on Nazi Germany on December 9, 1941. This, combined with the earlier restrictions placed on the Chinese by the Nazis, led to the persecution of the Chinese in Nazi Germany. Eirig Stefan, Ataturk in the Nazi Imagination. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press. Page 129. ISBN 9,674,368,378. Informational notes. Let your mind wander now to Party for Two. Party for Two is a song by Canadian country singer-songwriter Shania Twain, recorded for her 2004 Greatest Hits compilation album. Written by Twain and then-husband Robert John Mutt Lange and produced by Lange, it was originally conceived as a return to country for Twain and planned as a duet with Toby Keith. Due to scheduling conflicts, he was instead replaced with newcomer and label mate Billy Currington. Although no alternate version was initially planned, a pop remix featuring rock band Sugar Ray lead singer Mark McGrath was also recorded as well. Released on September 7, 2004, it was received well by critics. Commercially, it was also successful. It would peak at number 7 on the U.S. Billboard Hot Country Songs chart, becoming Twain's 16th and most recent top 10 single, but only the second for Currington. It was her last entry on the Billboard Hot 100 for the 2000s decade. Internationally, it proved to be more successful, hitting top 10 in countries such as Austria, Twain's native Canada, and the United Kingdom. Remixes of the song were released for club play. It was nominated at the 2005 CMAs for Musical Event of the Year. As of 2023, Party for Two is certified platinum by the RIAA for 1 million certified units. Background and release in 2004, at the end of the Up tour, Twain took a break before deciding to release a greatest hits album. She included 17 singles on the compilation. Party for Two was one of 3 new songs recorded for greatest hits, the others being Don't and I Ain't No Quitter. Party for Two was serviced to country radio as the lead single on September 7, 2004. It was released on October 25, 2004, in Australia, Germany, and for U.S. adult contemporary radio. It was also released in Canada and the United Kingdom on November 2nd and November 22nd. Twain explained the song as picking up where left off on Up. She initially planned to record Party for Two with American singer Toby Keith. However, due to timing conflicts, he was unavailable for recording. She wanted to record with someone completely opposite of her, and so Mercury Nashville president Luke Lewis introduced her to Billy Currington, then an up-and-coming singer. Currington described the experience of recording the song as once in a lifetime, and that both Twain and Mutt made me feel at home. Composition Party for Two was released in 2 versions. A pop version featuring Sugar Ray frontman Mark McGrath for pop and international audiences, and a country version featuring Billy Currington for country audiences. Twain and her husband Robert John Mutt Lange wrote the song, with Lange handling production. According to the sheet music published at Music Notes, Party for Two is written in the key of B major with a tempo of 122 beats per minute. The chord progression contains open fifths, E5, B5, F-sharp 5, and the vocals span from E3 to G-sharp 4. Lyrically, Twain entices a guy to come over for a party, and while he is hesitant at first, he changes his mind once he finds out it is just for the two of them. She was adamant about the song being flirty instead of sexual. Critical reception. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic, in his review for Greatest Hits, called the song gleefully goofy. Country Universe rated the Currington version a B+, praising the laid-back smolder of his vocals while also liking Twain's flirty, playful performance of the verses. However, the publication rated the McGrath version a B-, saying that McGrath did not have the character needed to sell a song of this ilk, and disliking the poorly aged pop production when in comparison to the original country mix. Marcus Raboy directed the music videos for Party for Two. It was filmed on August 28 to 29, 2004, in the Mayfair district of London, England. 2 videos were filmed, each featuring either Currington or McGrath. The video shows Twain walking around town, handing out invitations to movers, a waiter, and an artist to help her get ready for her party for two later that night. At the party, Twain and her guest end up swinging on a chandelier and smashing plates. Release and reception. The country version was released to music stations such as CMT and GAC, while the pop version was released to VH1, Much More Music, and other international stations. It proved to be a success, with the pop version won the Much Music Video Award for the Much More Music Video of the Year, while the country version was nominated for Collaborative Video of the Year at the 2005 CMT Music Awards. Chart performance. Party for Two debuted on the U.S. Billboard Hot Country Songs the week of September 18, 2004, at number 39. It rose to its peak position of number 7 on December 25, 2004, where it stayed for 1 week. It stayed 20 weeks overall on the chart. The single also peaked at number 58 on the all-genre Billboard Hot 158 on the Radio Songs chart. In November 2004, the track received a spin award from BDS Certified for 50,000 spins. By March 2005, the track received another award, this time for 100,000 spins. Party for Two debuted on the UK singles chart for the week of December 4, 2004, at number 10. It stayed in the UK charts for 9 weeks. In German-speaking Europe, Party for Two peaked at number 6 and 7 in Austria and Germany. In Twain's home country of Canada, the single peaked atop the BDS Canada Airplay chart and peaked at number 2 on the sales-only Canadian singles chart. Party for Two also charted highly in Denmark, Portugal, Spain, and Scotland. Live performances. Twain first performed the country version of Party for Two on Good Morning America with Currington on November 5, 2004. She also performed the country version with him on the German music show Wetten das. Twain performed the pop version featuring McGrath for the first time on Dutch TV. She also performed the version featuring him at the 2004 Bambi Awards. Twain also performed the pop version with McGrath on the British morning show GMTV. Track listings. These are the formats of major releases. Official versions. Almighty Records provided 6 different remixes of the song. Our next topic tonight is Aleksandar Makedonski. Aleksandar Makedonski, Macedonian. Al yekos in der Aram Akaya der Onski lit. Alexander of Macedonia was a Macedonian and former Yugoslav rock band. Biography: Aleksandar Makedonski was formed in 1986 in Skopje, then in socialist Yugoslavia, as an offshoot of the prominent punk rock group Badmintons, and it included the frontman Vladimir Petrovsky Carter, guitar, vocals, Dejan Skardov Diko, keyboards, Zoran Jankovic Bajo, bass guitar, Vladimir Domovsky, drums, and the female singer Melita Stefanovska, backing vocals. Unlike Badmintons, who were a punk band, Aleksandar Makedonski was initially a more pop-rock-oriented act. The third former Badmintons member, drummer Boris Georgiev, but instead joined gothic rock cult band Mizar and played on their first self-titled album released in 1988. Aleksandar Makedonski recorded several songs for the national Macedonian radio-television music production and soon became popular across the country. The group released its debut album, Zeir Anpin, in 1988, for Jugadisc record label in 1988. Unlike their previous material, the album was in Serbo-Croatian, because it was the most widespread language in the multilingual former Yugoslav market. In 1990, they appeared on the compilation tape Demoskop 1, released by Mladinsky Radio Club 100, with the tracks My Si Igra and Sekjavanja. The lineup soon changed. Melita Stefanovska left and joined the all-female alternative rock band Royal Albert Hall, who appeared on Demoskop 1 alongside her former band, while Domovsky joined the psychedelic rock group Klurjo, who also appeared on Demoskop 1, together with Vlasto Lucky and Skardov, who later moved to Italy in 1991. Carter continued to work with a new bass player, Might Brl Jamov, but with a different musical style. In 1991, they recorded songs for their planned second album at the studio of Nikola Kakin Dmushevsky of Leb I Sol. The material was recorded by Vladimir Petrovsky Carter, guitars, vocals, Igor Atanasovsky hair, guitars, Vlasto Lucky Janvik bass, Mihajlo Kostadinovsky Mickey, drums. The session was never released. However, the track Vaz, a duet with Goran Tamsky of Mizar, was leaked in 2013 and released on the Macedonian Document Step 4 compilation. The group then broke up. In 1995, Aleksandar Makedonski reconvened with Carter, Bajo, Diko, and Butt, plus rhythm guitarist Aleksandar Stevsky Kane. This lineup's first release was the song Ako Bide Si Vo Red, recorded in March 1995 and released on the Macedonian Document Step 2 compilation that year. Between May 1995 and May 1996, the group's second album Moto Karstvo was recorded, being released on the Manhattan label in 1996. All three original members of Badmintons are on Moto Karstvo, giving the album a style reminiscent of Badmintons. In 1997, the group disbanded, and Carter switched to studio and film work, forming a new group called Observatory later that year. Observatory released their debut and only album, System, in 1999. Badmintons got back together for reunions in 2002 and 2007. A CD single of Ako My Datish was released in 2007, though the song was credited to Badmingtons and credited to Obstrixidja in the film itself. Discography Zahiroj I Prince Modo Karstvo, see also Music of the Republic of Macedonia, Yugoslav pop and rock references Janjetovic, Petter. Illustravana Encyclopedija YU Raka 1960–1997, page 13, publisher. Geopoetica, 1997, archived 2011–07–11 at the Wayback Machine. In Serbian, interview with Carter Forum magazine. In Macedonian Music Network. In Macedonian, Dragan Pavlov and Dejan Shunchka. Punk u Jugoslaviji, Punk in Yugoslavia. Publisher, IGP Dedalis, 1990. In Serbian, Croatian and Slovene. When you are ready, we move on to fucking Smilers. At #% end. Smilers is the 7th studio album by the American singer-songwriter Amy Mann. It was released by Super Ego Records in the UK on June 2, 2008, and in the US on June 3rd. It was produced by Mann's bassist Paul Bryan and features the singer-songwriter Sean Hayes, who duets with Mann on the track Ballantines, and the author Dave Eggers, who whistles on Little Tornado. The title of the album comes from an online conversation Mann read in which someone complained about the fucking Smilers, who would approach him at work when he was in a bad mood and try to cheer him up. Release in addition to the standard CD package, Smilers is available in a limited edition package with a book-bound cover, a die-cut 32-page book with illustrations by renowned artist Gary Taksali, and held together with metal screw binding. On December 3, 2008, it was announced that this limited edition package was nominated for a Grammy in the category of Best Boxed or Special Limited Edition Package. The music video for 31 Today, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, features the comedian Morgan Murphy. The album has a score of 79 out of 100 from Metacritic based on generally favorable reviews. Prefix Magazine gave the album a score of 8.5 out of 10, and said it proves Amy Mann still has plenty to offer doing the same thing she's already been doing for the last 15 years. Q gave it 4 stars out of 5 and said of Mann, "It isn't any different to where she's been before. It's simply that quality levels remain uniformly high." Paste gave it a score of 8 out of 10 and called it a more keyboard-centric entry into consistently excellent solo catalog. The Boston Globe gave it a favorable review and said that the pep is paired with tunes that seep into your brain, with the stealth of Mann's own beguiling murmur and lyrics that range from poetic to narrative. Hartford Courant also gave it a favorable review and said that the strong songwriting and astute musical arrangements combined to make Mann's latest her best album so far. Blender gave it a score of 3.5 stars out of 5 and said, "With its stories of faithless lovers, broken relationships, and speed-dealing suburban doctors, at #% end. Smilers almost seems to feed off the stagnation." Other reviews are average. Uncut gave the album a score of 3 stars out of 5 and said that Mann's decision to forego electric guitars results in the oral equivalent of watercolor washes, lovely and tasteful but lacking presence. Slant magazine also gave it 3 stars out of 5 and said that wise, bitter lyrics never let her listeners off the hook. It'd be nice to hear her challenge herself as well. Track listing all songs written by Amy Mann, except where noted. Freeway 350 Stranger into Starman 131 Looking for Nothing 346 Phoenix 356 Borrowing Time 312 It's Over 358 31 Today 452 The Great Beyond 312 Medicine Wheel Man Gretchen Cychrist 408 Columbus Avenue 406 Little Tornado 323 True Believer, Man Grant Lee Phillips 332 Ballantines 221 Personnel Amy Mann Lead Vocals, Acoustic Guitar, Bowed Acoustic Paul Bryan, Bass, Backing Vocals, Horn Arrangements Jay Bellarose, Drums Jamie Edwards, Keyboards Buddy Judge, Backing Vocals on Looking for Nothing, and 31 Today Kim and Kirk, Backing Vocals on It's Over Jebin Bruni, Moog on Borrowing Time, Chris Bruce, guitar solo arranged for horns on Borrowing Time, Sean Hayes, duet vocals on Ballantines, Dave Eggers, whistling on Little Tornado, Patrick Warren, string arrangements Willie Murillo, trumpet Mark Vischer, tenor and baritone saxophone Jason Thor, trombone and bass trombone Eric Gorfain, Daphne Chen, Amy Wickman, Alyssa Park, Terry Glennie, Marissa Cunny, Melissa Riener, violins Lee Katz, Caroline Buckman, David Sage, violas Richard Dodd, Alan Matthews, John Cravaza, cellos. Next, we turn softly to Skaters Band. Skaters, stylized as Skaters, was a rock band formed in New York City, New York, in 2012. The band was signed to Warner Bros. Records before going independent in 2017 and releasing their second album under Yonk's Records. In the summer of 2011, singer and songwriter Michael Ian Cummings met English guitarist Josh Hubbard at a party in Los Angeles. Several months later, Cummings received a call from Hubbard announcing that he would be arriving in New York City the following day from the UK. Cummings stated that he would like to play a gig, so the pair recruited drummer Noah Rubin and bassist Dan Burke, booked 3 shows, learned some songs Cummings and Rubin had been working on, and a handful of Pixies covers, and the band was formed. Their debut record, Manhattan, contained stories of the city where they met. We were all bartenders, so the songs are tales of experiences we had or saw, and other people who were characters in our life during the first year we were in this band, Cummings said. The album was recorded by John Hill in the API room at Greenwich Village Electric Lady Studios. Early Life band members Michael Ian Cummings and Noah Rubin, both from Boston, were located in the Los Angeles area when they began making music together as singer and drummer of the Dead Trees. In 2012, Cummings and Rubin began sending demos back and forth to London to future member Joshua Hubbard, who then had played guitar for the Paddingtons and Dirty Pretty Things. The 3 men eventually met in Manhattan to form the band. They set out to produce an art magazine, Yonks, and record their EP Schemers. Yonks is a publication that features the band's new music and focuses on showcasing talented artists and photographers. Cummings now sings for the band, Rubin plays the drums, and Hubbard plays guitar. Other musicians, Dan Burke and Tommy Allen, are permanent and contributing members of the Skaters team. The name Skaters was chosen because it reminds the members of their youth and culture of skating. The band claims to have been musically influenced by The melodic punk bands of the 70 and 80 like Mission of Burma, Devo, and the Cars, as well as the Ramones, the Clash, and the Pixies. Skaters is currently managed by Nick Bobski of Red Light Management. Music career in early 2012, the band released its first EP, Schemers. The EP was inspired by New York City music and art from all decades. The EP consists of 5 songs which were made available for free download on the band's website. The Schemers EP reached over 10,000 downloads from their website. Skaters performed at SXSW in Austin, Texas, in March 2013. On April 9, 2013, the band released their first 7-inch single which featured their songs I Wanna Dance, But Don't Know How, and Armed. Their debut album, Manhattan, was released on February 25, 2014, via Warner Bros. Records to critical acclaim. The album was recorded in New York at Electric Lady, a studio built by Jimi Hendrix. Skaters' latest EP, Rock and Roll Bye Bye, was released on March 24, 2017, and features several songs that were produced and engineered by Albert Di Fiore, including the single, Rock and Roll Bye Bye. Di Fiore also produced and engineered the Skaters' singles, Save Her Something Special, Mental Case, and Head On to Nowhere. Members Michael Ian Cummings, singer/songwriter Noah Rubin, drums Joshua Hubbard, guitar Dan Burke, bass. Singles Miss Teen, Massachusetts, Deadbolt, U.S. Alternative Songs #34 Stood Up, I Wanna Dance, But I Don't Know How, Armed, Let the Heads Roll, Criminal in Your Head, Girls Like You. When you are ready, we move on to Zeir Anpin. Zeir Anpin, Aramaic. Hebrew Zayin, Hebrew Shva, Hebrew Tayin, Hebrew Hebrew Yod, Hebrew Resh, Hebrew Aleph, Hebrew Hebrew Nun, Hebrew Pe, Hebrew Hebrew Dagesh, Hebrew Yod, Hebrew Nun, meaning lesser countenance/small face, is a revealed aspect of God in Kabbalah, comprising the emotional Sephirot attributes, Chesed, Jevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. The Zohar's imagery expounds its role in creation, where it is the microscopic equivalent of Arich Anpin, macroprosopis, in the Sephirotic tree of life. The Sifra Ditzniuta portrays it as the revealed face of God, and the Idra Rabbah elaborates on the Kabbalistic significance of its several attributes. In 16th century Lurianic doctrine, it becomes systemized as one of the 6 primary parts Euphim divine persony, as part of the cosmic process of tikkun rectification. Uniting Zeir Anpin short face with Nukva female Zeir Anpin, the emotional Sephirot centered on Tiferet beauty, is the transcendent revelation of God to creation, the Holy One blessed be He, a perceptible manifestation of the essential divine infinity, the tetragrammaton name of God. Nukva female of Zeir Anpin is the indwelling immanent Shekinah, feminine divine presence, within creation, the concealed divine finitude, the name Elohim. In medieval Kabbalah, the sin of Adam, as well as later sin, introduces apparent separation, perceived from creation between the two, bringing exile and constriction on high. The task of man is restoring union, yichud, to the male and female divine manifestations. This is the origin of the Kabbalistic prayer formula, recited before performing a Jewish observance. Within the Tetragrammaton, the first two letters signify the concealed world/upper unity with God, and the latter two signify the created world/lower unity. For the sake of the union of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His Shekinah, to unite the name YH with VH in a perfect union, in the name of all Israel in Lurianic Kabbalah, the origin of disharmony in the Sephirot is located earlier, in the primordial realm of Tohu before the creation of man, though later sin brings further exile. The task of man, while also affecting male-female union on high, involves messianic redemption of the exiled sparks of holiness, Burr, from Tohu that are scattered within physical existence. Burr becomes the inner dimension of Yitzhak. Each indwelling spark is relatively female, in relation to the person who redeems it from captivity. The collectivity of all sparks, similar to the collective people of Israel, also comprises the exiled Shekinah, awaiting raising up to God. References mystical concepts in Chassidism, Jacob Emanuel Scotchett, Kehat Pub. Also printed as appendix of Likutei Amarim Tanya, Kehat. Chapter 8 and so on s. L. MacGregor Mathers, The Kabbalah Unveiled, George Redway, London, 1887. External links: The Kabbalah Unveiled by S. L. MacGregor Mathers. Related articles on Zeir Anpin by Zion Nefesh. And now a new story begins. Our Lady of the Forest Church, Forest Row. Our Lady of the Forest Church was a Roman Catholic church in Forest Row, a village in East Sussex in southern England. It was built in the 1950s, and in 1963 had U.S. President John F. Kennedy attending Mass. It closed in 2009 and was subsequently redeveloped into residential housing. History: the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Southwark built the church in the 1950s, and the place was registered for marriages in February 1959. In 1965, the Diocese of Arundel and Brighton was established from part of Southwark's territory and took over responsibility for the church. 1963 Kennedy visit: John F. Kennedy, then President of the United States, attended Mass at the church on 30th of June 1963, the first time an American president had done so on English soil. Kennedy had been staying at Birch Grove, the family residence of the British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, during his only official visit to the United Kingdom. Kennedy traveled to the church in a large motorcade of police and Secret Service agents. Crowds were present along the route, as well as campaigners for nuclear disarmament. Kennedy and Macmillan had been discussing what would eventually become the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty at Birch Grove. The parish priest, Fr. Charles P. Dahlman, omitted his typical 15-minute sermon due to constraints on Kennedy's time, but expressed gratitude that one of the world's leading Catholics should be with us in our little wayside chapel this morning. Kennedy shook hands with villagers outside the church as he left after the Mass. Kennedy was accompanied by Philip de Zulura, a fellow Roman Catholic and private secretary to Macmillan. On his way to and from the church, Kennedy's sole topic of conversation was sexual gossip connected to the Profumo affair, Much to Zulura's astonishment, Macmillan was shocked by reports of Kennedy's conversations. Kennedy was assassinated in November, less than 6 months after his visit. Macmillan subsequently unveiled a memorial plaque to Kennedy at Forest Row Village Hall. Kennedy's visit to the church was commemorated by a small plaque, now found in the East Grinstead Church. A memorial mass was subsequently held on the anniversary of his visit for several years. Closure and redevelopment. The church closed after Mass on Christmas Day in 2009, despite having a regular congregation of between 50 and 90 at the time. The primary reason for the closure was a shortage of priests. Retired priests were conducting services at the church in the absence of the parish priest, Fr. Stephen Purnell. Following the closure of the church, the congregation moved to Our Lady and St. Peter's Church in nearby East Grinstead, and the fittings and vestments were moved to the parish of the Immaculate Heart of Mary in Kwadaso Kumasi, in the Archdiocese of Kumasi, Ghana. In 2024, a planning application was submitted to convert the site, located at 88 Hartfield Road, into residential housing. The plan included the conversion of the church into 2 apartments, a further house to be built within the space of the front car park, and the demolition of the church tower. The application received no objections. Let us drift gently now toward Toyo Tires. Toyo Tire Corporation. Toyo Tire, Japanese letter, 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 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Toyo Teiya Kabushiki Geisha, commonly known as Toyo Tires, is a multinational tire and rubber products company based in Itami, Japan. The company owns and operates 8 factories in Asia, North America, and Europe, and distributes tires and automotive components through 14 sales companies throughout the world. Its lines of business are manufacturing and marketing of car tires, industrial rubber and synthetic resin products, soft and rigid polyurethane products, waterproof sheets, anti-vibration rubber for automotive parts, seat cushions, and sporting goods. Its tire brands are Toyo, Nitto, and Silverstone. Toyo Tires posted net sales of 497 billion Japanese yen for fiscal year 2022. It is the 11th largest tire company in the world based on 2022 revenue. The company started in 1945. In 1966, the company expanded to the United States as Toyo Tire USA Corporation. In 1999, Nitto Tire North America was established. Sponsorship. Toyo has sponsored off-road trophy truck drivers including Robbie Gordon, Kyle LeDuc, B.J. Baldwin, Tavo Vildasola, Gus Vildasola, Andy McMillan, and Bryce Menzies, as well as rally and stunt driver Ken Block. Meanwhile, Nitto has sponsored the King of the Hammers rock crawling race and drifting drivers Vaughn Gittin Jr. Since 2013, Chelsea Denofa, Ryan Tuick, Frederick Osbo, and Adam Lz. In 1988, Toyo began an exclusive sponsorship deal with legendary Australian rally and touring car driver Colin Bond, who was running a Ford Sierra RS 500 in the Australian Touring Car Championship. using largely experimental tires, as at the time Toyo were relatively new to making racing slick tires compared to their opposition. In Australian touring car racing, the other tire manufacturers of the time were Dunlop, Bridgestone, Yokohama, Pirelli, and Avon. Bond would finish third in the championship in 1988, as well as winning the Amaru Park-based AMSCAR series. He then teamed with 1980 Formula One World Drivers' Champion and former Network Alpha teammate Alan Jones to finish third in the 1988 Tooheys 1000 at Bathurst, before finishing second outright in the Asia-Pacific Touring Car Championship. After a lean year in 1989, Bond and the Toyos returned to prominence in the 1990 Australian Touring Car Championship, winning the Lakeside and Malala rounds of the 8-round series to eventually finish the title in fourth place. Bond continued to run Toyo Tires on his team's cars. The Sierras were followed in 1993 by Toyota Corolla Sekolah AE93, until shutting his team down at the end of 1993. Bond and teammate John Smith had placed third and second respectively in the Corollas in the 1993 Australian 2.0-liter championship. The company has also sponsored the Ultimate Fighting Championship mixed martial arts promotion from 2006 to 2008, and later since 2011. Since 2012, the company has been sponsoring Toyo Tires' F1600 Championship Series, an Ontario-based Formula Ford racing series. Next, we turn softly to Battle of Kakiri. The Battle of Kakiri was a raid by Popular Resistance Army, PRA, rebels to capture weapons and ammunition at a military outpost in Kakiri during the early Ugandan Bush War. Kakiri was defended by a Uganda National Liberation Army, UNLA, contingent. The insurgents successfully overran the outpost and then tried to retreat with their loot. In the process, they chanced upon a Tanzania People's Defense Force, TPDF, patrol, killing several of its members. The PRA subsequently escaped into the bush, pursued by UNLA and TPDF troops. A few days later, one PRA contingent was attacked by a TPDF company and lost some of the weapons captured at Kakiri. Background: in April 1979, Tanzanian forces and the Uganda National Liberation Army, UNLA, a coalition of armed rebel groups united under the Uganda National Liberation Front UNLF, invaded Uganda and deposed the president, Idi Amin. A new UNLF government was installed, but it was weak and exercised little control over the country. This was in part due to the UNLF and its army's own internal divisions. One of the most important rivalries emerged between the supporters of Milton Obote and Yoweri Museveni. Over time, power shifted to pro-Obote elements in the government and the army. As a result of the political infighting and the power of the armed factions, Uganda's first post-Amin provisional government led by President Yusuf Lowell was unstable. Lowell was dismissed on 20th of June 1979 and replaced by Godfrey Binaisa, who lacked his own power base. In May 1980, Binaisa was also deposed, and Uganda fell under the control of the UNLF Military Commission that was supposed to rule, until the scheduled December 1980 general election. These elections were won by Abot and his supporters, but the results were disputed by other political factions. Regardless, Abot assumed power and ruled through repressive methods, including the incarceration and killing of dissidents. Museveni subsequently organized the Popular Resistance Army, PRA rebel group, and began attacking UNLA forces in February 1981, entering the Ugandan Bush War. The PRA mainly operated in the Luwero Triangle, west of Uganda's capital Kampala. Knowing that his force was small and not well equipped, Museveni envisioned that his rebels would wage a long-term people's war to gradually undermine Abot's government and build up support across Uganda, starting with the Luwero region, where many civilians were already sympathetic to his cause. Prelude, one of the first priorities for the PRA, was the capture of weaponry for its fighters. However, early rebel attempts to capture guns from the UNLA and its TPDF allies were rather unsuccessful. The Battle of Kabamba on 6 February 1981 was a partial failure, and a subsequent series of raids on police stations yielded only few weapons. On 9 February, a UNLA TPDF force attacked the PRA near Kiboga, forcing it to scatter and causing a dozen rebels to quit the insurgency. Afterward, the remaining PRA fighters reunited and spent several weeks in hiding, gathering food and reorganizing. The rebels formed 5 sections, led respectively by Museveni, Sam Magara, Jack Muchinguzi, Hannington Mugabe, and Fred Rwigema. After a promised arms shipment by the PRA's foreign allies failed to arrive, the group resumed its attacks on government targets on 18th of March. In April, the PRA opted to launch a more ambitious raid, targeting a UNLA outpost at Kakiri to capture more weapons and demonstrate its ability to inflict damage against the government. Kakiri was located along the Kampala-Hoima Road, about 17 miles, 27 kilometers from the Ugandan capital. The local outpost was a makeshift military camp, hosting about 2 companies of UNLA soldiers. One PRA spy working at the local sub-county headquarters was ordered to scout the UNLA outpost, allowing the rebels to ascertain that the government troops had set up few proper defenses and not dug any trenches. On late 4th of April, about 60 PRA insurgents left their hideout at Kikandwa and marched through the night to stealthily approach Kakiri. The rebels avoided roads, instead moving through forests and plantations. When they arrived near Kakiri on early 5th of April, the PRA leadership initially wanted to allow its troops some rest and to attack in the evening. However, the fighters encountered a civilian on a bicycle who sped away and also discovered that their planned hiding place was located near a well. This made a discovery by the local garrison likely. After a short discussion, Museveni and the other PRA commanders decided to immediately attack in order to maintain the element of surprise. The assault was initiated by a PRA fighter shooting a rocket-propelled grenade at the local police station, whereupon the 5 rebel sections stormed the camp. The rebels swiftly overran the outpost. The confused UNLA soldiers offered little resistance. At this stage, neither side lost any troops. As the UNLA soldiers fled, PRA member Pico's Qdesser reportedly crawled forward under gunfire to personally capture a heavy machine gun, which had been placed in front of the military camp. Furthermore, Museveni's followers captured two 60mm mortars, 12 submachine guns, and ammunition. With this loot, the rebels tried to retreat, while UNLA troops counterattacked. As the fighting withdrawal of the insurgents was in process, a truck with TPDF soldiers led by a major arrived at the site from Busenju. Knowing the poor gun discipline of the local UNLA soldiers, the Tanzanians were unaware that the shooting was related to an actual rebel attack. Accordingly, the TPDF major jumped from his vehicle and demanded that the UNLA troops stop firing, calling them to order. Instead, Arwijima used the opportunity to take aim and kill the Tanzania officer. Several other TPDF soldiers were also killed, as the other PRA militants opened fire on the truck. The PRA then retreated into the nearby forest in good order. A UNLA TPDF force, including at least one armored personnel carrier and several mortar crews, chased after the rebels. The pro-government troops shot aimlessly into the forest, but hit no rebels and were successfully evaded. Aftermath as a lesson of the raid, the PRA leadership concluded that they had to always take a group of porters on important missions, as the militants had difficulties transporting their loot during the retreat from Kakiri. In public, the PRA proclaimed that it had killed 200 UNLA and 100 TPDF soldiers at Kakiri. After the battle at Kakiri, the PRA split into two columns, one led by Magara and one by Eli Tumwine. The latter contingent was detected by the TPDF and attacked on 18th of April, resulting in a clash that ended in the rebels losing several fighters and some of the weaponry captured at Kakiri. The rebel contingents subsequently reunited and focused on recruiting new members. The PRA expanded to about 200 fighters by late April. In June, the PRA merged with another rebel group, the Uganda Freedom Fighters, forming the National Resistance Movement, NRM. Museveni was made vice chairman of the National Resistance Council, the group's political body, and chairman of the High Command of the National Resistance Army, NRA, the movement's armed organ. Over the next years, fighting between the NRA and UNLA ebbed and flowed, as the government would launch major counterinsurgency operations in the Luwero Triangle, disrupting NRA activities, only for the rebels to retake lost territory upon the end of the offensives. Meanwhile, Kakiri remained under UNLA control. Local soldiers committed 2 massacres at the town in mid-1982. A NRA contingent under Salam Sale raided Kakiri in late 1982. After defeating the UNLA and its allies in a series of major battles, the NRA conquered Kampala in January 1986. Museveni was declared the country's new president, and the NRA became the new national army. Let your mind wander now to Sekolah Dato Abdul Razak. Sekolah Dato Abdul Razak English. Dato Abdul Razak School, abbreviated SDAR, is a premier Sekolah Berasrama Pena English fully residential school for male students in Zeir Anpin, Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. It is one of the most prestigious schools in Malaysia, selecting the best students in the country, and is named after Abdul Razak Hussein. It was known as a smart school before becoming a cluster school in 2008. In 2010, Zeir was selected as one of the 20 Sekolah Berprestasi Tinggi, or high-performance schools in Malaysia. In 2025, the school has been given Apple Distinguished School designation. The school is known for its rugby and foyer program. Establishment source: Zeir was established in Johor Bahru on 1 May 1956 as Sekolah Menengah Melayu, Malay Secondary School. The establishment of the school was based on the proposal from the Penyatar Razak Report, 1956. Among the main objectives of the formation of the school was to provide opportunities for bright and high-potential students from the Malay Stream Primary School to further their education to the secondary level. When Sekolah Menengah Melayu was first established, there was no dedicated campus for the students. The first batch of students consisted of 80 boys, and they were accompanied by 3 teachers. The group was assigned to a temporary location in Bukit Zahara, Johor Bahru. In 1957, half of the original first batch students were assigned to enroll in a new location, now known as Sekolah Tuanku Abdul Rahman, in Ipoh. The remaining students were then relocated to Tanjung Malam, Perak, staying in the campus provided by the Sultan Idris Training College, SIK, currently known as Universiti Pendidikan Sultan Idris. With larger campus, more students were taken in, and enrollment increased to 119. SIK Principal R.A. Goodchild was appointed as the temporary principal of the new school, and he was replaced by C.F. Daniels 2 months later. Within this period, the school teaching faculty increased to 11, including part-time teachers. On 5 January 1958, the school new campus building, located next to SIK, was opened and N. Arifin Mohd Nam was appointed as the first school principal. School renaming on 29 November 1958, the school was given a new name. The then Minister of Education, Mohammed Kur Johari, officially announced the school's new name as Sekolah Dato Abdul Razak, in honor of Dato Abdul Razak Hussein, who was the brainchild behind the school formation. Dato Abdul Razak himself, who was the Deputy Prime Minister at the time, officiated the renaming ceremony. Berilmu Untuk Berjasa, which means with knowledge to contribute, became the official school motto. Jalan Sikamat campus, as the school enrollment grew, the Tanjung Malam campus could no longer accommodate the increasing number of students. As such, in 1971, the Negeri Sembilan state government had allocated 36 acres of land in Jalan Sikamat, Zeir Anpin, as the new school campus site. On the 2nd of January 1972, Zeir officially relocated to its new site in Zeir Anpin, despite the unfinished constructions of some of its facilities, dining hall building and some classrooms. The removal class students had to be temporarily assigned to the nearby Teachers Training College campus, now known as Institut Pendidikan Guru Raja Melwar. Tuan Sid Jafar Al-Idris, maintained his post as the school principal during this time. On 3rd of November 1973, the Jalan Sikamat Esdar campus was officially opened in a ceremony attended by Dato Haji Murad bin Noor, Director General of Education, and N. Anwar Ayyab, the Negeri Sembilan Education Director. Sungai Gadut campus, on the 2nd of January 2002, Esdar commenced its school session at a new location in Sungai Gadut, Senowang, Zeir Anpin. The 40-acre campus consisted of an administration building, 25 classrooms, 4 hostel buildings, mosque, dining hall, and accommodation complex for academic and non-academic staffs. The campus is also equipped with a sport field, tennis court, and a basketball court. Extracurricular activities. Sekolah Dato Abdul Razak stands apart from other Malaysian schools through an exceptionally rich and celebrated co-curricular culture, one that has produced national champions, international representatives, and performers on the national stage. With a legacy spanning over 6 decades, the school has consistently demonstrated that excellence beyond the classroom is not merely an aspiration, but a defining hallmark of every SDA Ryan. Rugby at the heart of Esdar co-curricular identity is rugby, a sport the school has dominated at both state and national level for over 5 decades. The Esdar Lions, established since 1971, are well known for actively producing international-level players every year and frequently competing in national and international tournaments. A number of players have gone on to represent the Malaysia National Rugby Union team, a testament to the elite standard of training and competition at the school. Esdar Lions claimed the National Premier Schools Rugby Championship in 1998 and featured prominently in the finals of both the 1999, 2001, and many more editions. Their dominance is not confined to a single era. Prior to the school's relocation to Zeir Anpin, the team won the Perak State title and the Mori Cup in 1971. Esdar also won the Negeri Sembilan School Rugby Championship, making it the only school in Malaysia to have claimed state titles in 2 different states. Among the Lions' most celebrated achievements is their record in the MSSM U15 National School Rugby Championship. Esdar have lifted the trophy 5 times in 1990, 2009, 2011, 2012, and 2013, placing them among the most decorated schools in the competition's entire history. Particularly remarkable was their dominance between 2011 and 2013, where the Lions claimed 3 consecutive national titles, a feat that cemented Esdar's position as the benchmark for school rugby development in Malaysia. This national pedigree is further complemented by the school holding the most championship titles in Negeri Sembilan at both the U15 and U18 levels, a record no other school in the state has matched. Esdar Lions is a consistent contender in Super Schools Rugby Championship, where they are a force to be reckoned with. Esdar Lions' reputation extends beyond domestic competition. Since 1973, Esdar has maintained an annual rugby fixture against King's College Thailand until today, one of the longest-running school rugby traditions in Southeast Asia, underscoring the school's standing as an institution of international sporting prestige. SDAR has also been hosting its own invitational SDAR 10 tournament every year since 2009, further cementing its role as the premier hub for school rugby in Malaysia. Basketball SDAR basketball program, competing under the banner of the Red Wings, has established itself as one of the most formidable school basketball outfits in Malaysia. Widely regarded as the King of the South, the Red Wings have claimed the Southern Zone's Sekolah Bersama Pena, SBP, basketball championship on consistent occasions, a dominance built on the unique advantages of a fully residential school environment, allowing players to train together extensively without the constraints of time, venue, or logistics. Their zonal supremacy has translated to the national stage, with the Red Wings claiming the national SBP basketball championship, the pinnacle of inter-boarding school basketball competition in the country. SDAR Red Wings have also competed in open external competitions, most notably dominating the NCBL U18 division upon their debut participation, further affirming the depth and quality of SDAR basketball development program. SDAR Red Wings is regarded as one of fierce competitors in Negeri Sembilan's basketball scene, though represented by all Malays boys, with multiple players have gone to represent on national and international levels. Football SDAR football program, competing under the name SDAR Alpha, has emerged as one of the most successful and consistently decorated football outfits in the SBP school football landscape. Alpha recently clinched the National SBP Football Championship, the highest honor in Malaysian school boarding football, underlining the program's status as a genuine force at the national level. Beyond national competition, SDAR Alpha has accumulated multiple titles in the Southern Premier Championship, a fiercely contested regional tournament that draws the strongest school sides from the southern states of peninsular Malaysia. SDAR Alpha has also established serial dominance in the MSSD Zeir Anpin 2, the district-level competition that serves as the foundation of their player development pipeline, producing a steady stream of talented footballers who have gone on to represent the school with distinction at higher levels. The combination of national titles, regional supremacy, and consistent district success makes SDAR Alpha one of the most well-rounded and storied school football programs in the entire SBP system. Performing Arts SDAR co-curricular excellence is not limited to the sports field. The school's performing arts program has earned national recognition, with the school band achieving a rare level of prominence for a secondary institution. SDAR Wind Orchestra is one of the best programs in SBP, having consistently making into national finals and scoring gold awards. In 2011, the band was selected to participate in Reflexi Orchestra, a nationally televised program produced in conjunction with the RTM Orchestra's 50th Golden Jubilee celebration. The performance, presented in a flash mob format, showcased the musicianship, creativity, and collective discipline that define the SDAR co-curricular tradition. A legacy of holistic excellence, SDAR is widely recognized as being specialized in both its sports and performing arts foyer program, a rare dual distinction that sets it apart from virtually every other boarding school in the country. With the SDAR Lions ruling the rugby pitch, the Red Wings reigning over Southern and national basketball, and Star Alpha conquering the national football arena. Sekolah Dato Abdul Razak has firmly established itself as the most decorated and well-rounded school for co-curricular excellence in Malaysia. Whether on the field, the court, or the national stage, SDA Ryans consistently demonstrate that co-curricular achievement and academic rigor are not competing priorities, but two sides of the same coin, living proof of the school's enduring motto, Berilmu Untuk Berjasa. Politicians Dato Seri Ahmed Husni Mohammed Hanedzla, former Second Minister of Finance Dato Sri Ahmed Shabari Cheek, former Minister of Agriculture and Agro-Based Industry Datuk Dr. Haji Abdul Latif Ahmed, former Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Dato Wan Hisham Wan Saleh, former member of Terengganu State Executive Council, academics Emeritus Professor Dato Dr. Mohd Sham Mohd Sani, former Vice-Chancellor of University Kebangsaan Malaysia Professor Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Nik Mustafa Raja Abdullah, former Vice-Chancellor of University Putra Malaysia Professor Dato Dr. Mohd Fauzi Ramlan, former Vice-Chancellor of University Putra Malaysia Law Tan Sri Dato Sri Ahmed Marrap, jurist and lawyer, 10th President of the Court of Appeal of Malaysia. And now a new story begins. Choto Sona Mosque. The Choto Sona Mosque Bengali, Benchot Shona Mashajid Enus lit. Small Golden Mosque, is a 15th-16th century mosque located in Chapai Nawabganj district, in the Rajshahi division of Bangladesh. Situated about 3 kilometers, 1.9 miles, south of the Katwali Gate and 0.5 kilometers, 0.31 miles, to the southeast of the Mughal Tahakhana complex in the Firozpur quarter. The mosque is often referred to as Gem of Sultanate Architecture and Gem of Gore. History. The mosque was built by Majlis Mansur Wali Muhammad bin Ali between 1493 and 1519, during the reign of Sultan Alauddin Hussein Shah. The 15 domes of the mosque were once gilded, hence its nomenclature. However, the gold has since dissipated. During the earthquake in 1897, and subsequently restored in 1900-07, 3 of the hemispherical domes, 3 of the chauchalas of the central aisle, and much of the west wall collapsed. The mosque has been restored and is one of the best preserved Bengal Sultanate-style monuments that are under the protection of the Department of Archaeology. Architecture. The mosque premise covers an area of 42 meters, 138 feet, east-west by 5 meters, 143 feet, north-south, and was originally surrounded by an outer wall, since restored, with a gateway in the middle of the eastern side. Built of brick and stone, the mosque forms a rectangle having outside dimensions of 1 meters, 82 feet, from north to south, and 9 meters, 52 feet, from east to west. Granite stone blocks on 4 walls have disappeared from the southern side of the west wall because of conservation works after the destruction by the earthquake of 1897. Cornices are curvilinear and have stone gutters to drain off the rainwater from the roof. There are 5 arched doorways in the eastern facade and 3 each on the north and south walls. Corresponding to the 5 archways in the east wall, there are 5 semicircular mihrabs inside the west wall. The stones of most of these mihrabs have disappeared. The interior of the mosque, measuring 2 by 12, 2 meters 70 by 40 feet, is divided into 3 aisles by 2 rows of stone pillars, 4 in each row. A wide central nave has cut the aisles into halves, each half showing 6 equal square units with a side of 5 meters, 11 feet. The nave has 3 rectangular units, each measuring 5 by 5 meters, 11 by 15 feet. The interior of the mosque has therefore a total of 15 units, of which the 3 rectangular units are covered with chauchala vaults, and the remaining 12 square units each by an inverted tumbler-shaped dome. They are all carried on radiating arches springing from the freestanding stone pillars and the engaged pilasters. Ornamentation, the most important ornamentation of the mosque, is to be seen on the frontal courtyard of the mosque, recently excavated. The ornamentation consists of mosaic roundels in blue and white colors of variegated design. The mosaic design is not in situ, but a roundel has been composed by the excavators, putting the flakes in their appropriate places and exhibiting it in a room attached to the guest house nearby. At a distance of 5 meters, 48 feet, to the east of the gateway, there is a stone platform containing 2 tomb sarcophagi inscribed with verses from the Quran and some names of God. It is unknown who is buried here. Alexander Cunningham suggests these are the tombs of Wali Muhammad, the builder of the mosque, and his father Ali. The glamour of the Choto Sona Masjid is not there as it was originally, particularly because of the stripping of the decorative mihrabs and the mosque courtyard. However, the remains are nevertheless one of the most attractive monuments of Gwar Lakanori. Inscription, erected over the central entrance in the east. The lower left-hand corner, which had the date, is broken, obscuring the precise date. The Arabic inscription reads, "In the name of Allah, the Merciful and the Compassionate." The Almighty Allah says, "The mosques of Allah shall be visited and maintained by such as believe in Allah and the Last Day, establish regular prayers and practice regular charity, and fear none except Allah. It is they who are expected to be on true guidance." The building of this Jami mosque took place during the reign of the Sultan of Sultans, the Sayyid of Sayyids, the Fountain of Auspiciousness, who has mercy on Muslim men and women, who exalts the words of truth and good deeds, who is aided by the assistance of the Supreme Judge, the warrior in the path of the Merciful, Khalifa of Allah by proof and testimony, defender of Islam and the Muslims, Sultan Ala al-Dunya Waldin Abul Muzaffar Hussein Shah, the Sultan al-Husseini. May Allah perpetuate his kingdom and sovereignty. This Jami mosque was built from pure and sincere motives, and trusting in Allah, by Wali Muhammad, son of Ali, who bears the title Majlis al-Majalis Majlis Mansur, the title of a noble, lit. Court of Courts, Court of the Victor. May the Almighty Allah help him in this world and the next. Its auspicious date is the 14th day of the month of the blessed Rajab. May Allah increase its value and dignity. When you are ready, we move on to Milkha Singh Thepuria. Milkha Singh Thepuria, also known as Milkha Singh Pindiwala, lit. Milkha Singh of Pindi, was a Sikh Sardar of the Bangi Misl who held Rawalpindi and adjoining northwestern territories during the later 18th century. A native of Kailk near Kasur, he founded the village of Thepuria in Lahore district, from which his epithet derived. After the Bangi conquest of Rawalpindi in 1767, he was placed in charge of the town by Gujjar Singh Bangi, made it his headquarters, and extended Sikh authority across parts of Pathohar and the frontier between Rohtas and Attock. He later took part in Sikh resistance to Afghan invasions and remained active during the political realignments that accompanied the rise of Ranjit Singh. Early life and background: Milkha Singh was a native of Kailk, near Kasur. He later founded the village of Thepuria in Lahore district, from which he acquired the appellation Thepuria or Thepuria. Before establishing himself in Rawalpindi, he seized villages in the districts of Firozpur, Lahore, Gujranwala and Gujarat. Rise to prominence: Milkha Singh emerged as one of the notable Bangi Sardars, attached to Gujjar Singh Bangi. On the northwestern side of Bangi expansion, he formed part of the advanced line of chiefs operating beyond Lahore and Gujarat. After Gujjar Singh captured Rawalpindi in the winter of 1767, he placed Milkha Singh in charge of the town and its surrounding tract. Governorship of Rawalpindi: when Milkha Singh assumed control, Rawalpindi was little more than a modest settlement. He chose it as his headquarters, overseeing the construction of new houses and the fortification of the town, while extending his authority over the surrounding countryside, which generated an annual revenue of approximately 3 lakhs of rupees. Milkha Singh's domain stretched across the tract between Rohtas and Attock, and his position on this frontier formed part of a broader Bangi defensive arrangement, with nearby commanders holding Hassan Abdul, Kali Sarai, and the plains approaching Attock. His wife, whose name is not recorded in the sources, exercised considerable supervisory authority along this frontier, and in his absence, personally commanded Sikh forces in operations against local rebellions. To manage his administration, Milkha Singh appointed Sadhu Singh to oversee the provisioning of troops with rations and clothing, and Bud Singh to superintend revenue collection. He further extended jagirs to local Gakar chiefs in exchange for nominal tribute, seeking to consolidate Bangi rule through a carefully balanced combination of military strength and negotiated accommodation. Milkha Singh was equally attentive to the town's economic vitality. He actively encouraged commercial growth by inviting traders from Beera, Chakwal, Mayani, and Pind Dadan Khan, granting them land to establish themselves, and providing employment to large numbers of poor Muslims in his building projects. Such was his standing in the region that neighboring tribes came to regard him with respect, knowing him by the affectionate epithet Milkha Singh Pindiwala. Pathohar campaigns in 1770s, the region around Rawalpindi, and the Salt Range was contested by a number of entrenched local powers, including Gakar chiefs and tribal groupings such as the Awans, Gularas, and D Huns. In the course of the Bangi advance, these groups were gradually subdued or brought into tributary relations. The broader campaign unfolded under Gujjar Singh Bangi, but Milkha Singh was the chief entrusted with administering and defending the conquered belt. By around 1770, following the subjugation of the Ghakkars, a substantial portion of the conquered villages in the Pargana of Fatehpur Bayar was placed under Milkha Singh's supervision. Some 192 villages were assigned to his authority on light tribute terms, while the remainder was kept under direct management. His role in this region was therefore not limited to raiding. It formed part of a deliberate effort to secure long-term Bengal control over the frontier through Jagier distribution and military oversight. Attempted advance toward Kashmir, one of the few clearly recorded independent operations attributed to Milkha Singh, was an attempt to push toward Kashmir. Operating from Rawalpindi, he advanced beyond Murree as far as Kohala on the Jhelum River, where the winter season caused heavy casualties, forcing him to withdraw. Operations during Shah Zaman's invasions. During the Durrani invasions under Zaman Shah Durrani, Milkha Singh played an active part in the Sikh response. In the campaign of 1796 to 1797, he assisted in the recovery of Rohta's fort, and when Shah Zaman sent forces toward Hassan Abdul, he moved to confront the Afghan advance in that sector. After an engagement lasting several hours, with casualties on both sides, he was forced to fall back toward Rohta's. In April 1797, following the death of Ahmed Khan Shahinshahbashi, the Durrani governor at Rohta's, Milkha Singh recovered his position and re-established his outpost at Kali Sarai near Panya Sahib. The Hazara chiefs subsequently acknowledged his nominal authority, confirming that despite these temporary reverses, he remained a significant frontier commander in the upper Pathohar Hazara zone. Hazara and nominal frontier suzerainty, after the recovery of his territory in 1797 and the re-establishment of his outpost at Kali Sari near Panya Sahib, several chiefs of Hazara district acknowledged nominal allegiance to Milkha Singh. These included Sadat Khan, head of the Swathis, Jafar Khan, chief of the Kanpur Ghakkars, Gulsher Khan, head of the Palal Tanalis, Najibullah Khan, the Tarian chief who governed much of the Hazara plain until 1799, and after his death, his widow Bari Begum, who managed affairs with the help of Muqaddam Musharraf. Campaign of 1798 to 1799, Milkha Singh's military activity increased with the concerned Shah Zaman's last invasion of 1798 to 1799, during which he commanded 2,000 horse. When Shah Zaman crossed the Indus at Attock, local chiefs rose against the Sikhs, and Milkha Singh fought 2 engagements with the Malukiya Zamindars at Sarai Kali and Rawalpindi. The outpost at Sarai Kali had to be evacuated, and Milkha Singh, together with Ran Singh Pada and Kala Singh, withdrew from the frontier line. During the retreat, 2 of his assistants left behind to collect baggage were overtaken by the Afghan advance guard, defeated, captured, and later executed at Attock after ransom had already been accepted. Milkha Singh himself fell back to Rohta's, where he joined other Sikh chiefs, including Ranjit Singh, before reaching Amritsar on 24th of December 1798 with 500 horse to take part in the broader Sikh concentration there. When Shah Zaman resolved to retire from Lahore, Milkha Singh and Chait Singh Bangi moved from Amritsar during the night of 3 to 4th of January 1799 and encamped near the city. After the Durrani withdrawal across the Ravi, they entered Lahore and re-established Sikh authority there, placing Milkha Singh among the chiefs who participated directly in the recovery of the city following the Afghan retreat. Death and legacy: Milkha Singh died in 1804. At the time of his death, his territory was said to yield an annual revenue of 3 lakhs of rupees, and he commanded 2,000 horse. Ranjit Singh is described as having addressed him as Baba out of respect. He was succeeded by his son Jiwan Singh, who served under Ranjit Singh and held the office of Thaindar of the fort of Rawalpindi. Jiwan Singh accompanied the Kashmir expedition of 1814 and died in 1815. After his death, the Lahore state absorbed the family's territory. Jiwan Singh's troops were incorporated into the Lahore army, and his son Anand Singh continued in service under Ranjit Singh. Milkha Singh's historical significance lies in his role in extending Bangi power into the northwestern Punjab and in the early development of Rawalpindi as a fortified and commercially active Sikh center on the frontier. That is all for tonight. Let the silence settle in. Sleep well.